The Nigerians have no option but to leave.
Hello guys, welcome to Epic Tube Moments. My name is Fred and I'm your usual anchor here on this channel. So today I'll be reacting to a video, something that has to do with the ongoing saga between Ghanaians and Nigerians. I wouldn't want to call it a saga yet because I don't think Nigerians have actually responded the way Nigerians respond to something that is an issue or something that has to do with Nigeria or Nigerians. And if you go back, I think last year when Nigerians actually responded to South Africa, that was actually a saga. In this case, Nigerians have not responded. And even though Nigerians are beginning to just get to that realization, we're just having little comments here and there. Nigerians have actually not reacted. Ghana has a population, very small population, I think about 34 or 40 million. I'm not sure about that. The population is like, compared to like 2 states in Nigeria. So when it has to do with that kind of population, Nigerians do not really know how to react in regards to that. That's one. And secondly, we have been friends, we have been brothers with Ghanaians for a very long time. So this is not that kind of story that Nigerians will just jump on and start reacting negatively online. South Africans are very, very far from us. We actually don't have that kind of brotherly relationship with South Africans. We don't have that kind of cultural kind of relationship with them. So for a lot of the times when we have issues that come up with South Africans, we really don't know if there's anything that actually binds us together culturally. But when it comes to Ghanaians, we've been together, we've been really, really into ourselves, Ghanaians and Nigerians. So it's very hard to even differentiate a Nigerian from a Ghanaian, besides the accent. When you just look at both persons or both countrymen, you see that we have a lot in common with Ghanaians. So right now, Nigerians have not actually jumped on that yet because we are trying to understand what the problem is. And for those people who are still on the road to trying to understand what's happening, this video is actually for you. So I came across this video, and this video was actually published by The Excellent. He actually did a good job there. So we would actually go through it, listen to it, and get clarity. Remember, I said all my videos are to get clarity. Before Ghanaians jump into what I tend to see as something very trivial, because this is actually something very trivial compared to bigger issues that we as a people have to stand against, to tackle. This is actually very trivial. And there are a lot of people out there trying to, make this look more bigger than it is. And that's why these videos are very, very helpful. Okay. I would be going through this video to give us the history, to understand how this all started, for a lot of people who do not know. And I can bet you a lot of Ghanaians do not know this history. And that's why they are so quick to jump in to this whole Nigeria must go saga, because we don't know. So I'm very happy for The Excellent. I'm going to leave his link down here so you guys can just go check the full video out for yourselves. It's a very, very good narration of how this whole thing started. So before I go into it, I just want to make you guys understand that in as much as we try to bring clarity, there are some very strong points that always have to be raised, especially in a content like this. Points where division and fights, wars, quarrels do not actually bring some form of closure or better outcomes. Before a group of people go into things like this, because I think this is actually getting out of hand as it is, start seeing videos that have to do with destruction. I hope it doesn't get to where we have loss of lives and properties. Destruction of businesses have actually started. Actually, I've seen some videos online today. So I think that's not just a good way to go about it. So this video should actually go a long way to help people get to still see it. This video has been out for quite a while now. I think it's like 3 days now, but I still want to push it out there so that you guys will get to see it. And the more you get to see it, the more clarity you get. And this will probably tend to reduce whatever tension is in the air. There is always a root to a cause. There's always something that fires up, something that becomes very out there. So we want to know what the root cause of this thing is, where it started, and how we both see each other. Okay? In the economic space, in the cultural space, and in the West Africa and the Black nation, as it were. So I would also want to put out a video, I think by next week, just to explain how Nigerians have actually been there for South Africans and what we as a people, we as a country have helped South Africans. And when South Africans were at their lowest, how Nigerians actually came for South Africans to help them. I'll also try to bring up that video so we get to understand and see how countries have been so helpful at a point to each other. But we are not seeing that in 2025. And I think a lot of things need to be put out there so that people can understand that we don't need this. These are very trivialized issues that we don't need to be putting too much energy to. So these videos are for clarity. So let me not really go into too much talk. Let's just watch these videos. And as we go along, we'll try to explain some things that need to be explained. Okay? Let's watch these videos.
When history is being told, it must be told the right way. For we criticize the West for telling our history sadly for not explicitly explaining what transpired. This is what transpired in Nigeria must go. The entire Africa was one. When Kwame Nkrumah became the Prime Minister of Ghana, up to when he became president, he called on everyone who had money to come and invest in Ghana, that Ghana was open to the entire Africa and Ghana was open for business and they should come and invest. Nigerians, wealthy businessmen, were of 90% of the investors who moved to Ghana to invest. And the population of Nigerians in Ghana by then were up to 2 million Nigerians living in Ghana out of the 2.5 foreigners living in Ghana by then. But when Kwame Nkrumah was overthrown by Kotoka and the rest, then came Buzia in power as prime minister. When Buzia came, he was a staunch opposition to Kwame Nkrumah. He never liked Kwame Nkrumah and the policies. When he came, the very first thing he did was to dismantle Kwame Nkrumah's policy and brought in the Alien Compliance Order. When he brought in the Alien Compliance Order, this seek to sack every foreigner in Ghana, and he knew quite well that of all the foreigners in Ghana, Nigerians were 90% of them, and they were investors and businessmen. They invested in cocoa, invested in infrastructures, invested in all sorts of business, manufacturing, transportation, you name it. So when he passed this order and he gave them a deadline to leave, the Nigerians had no option but to auction all they had, because they were suppressed by the government. And by then Buzia passed this law that no foreigner should be engaged in. About 40 businesses he put down that no foreigner should engage in. So the Nigerians had no option but to leave, and it was a bad time in history. Nigeria had to auction their cars. Nigeria had to auction their houses. Nigeria had to auction their businesses, their farm. Most were not even able to auction their businesses. They left it, and the indigenous Ghanaians took over their businesses, their cocoa farm. They lost their lives in custody, and as a result of this, it affected, traumatized the Nigerians. Just imagine you took huge amount of business and money to invest in Ghana, and even when you are leaving, the hard cash money, the money you were supposed to take, the banks refused to give Nigerians more than 2,000 pounds, and these people had hundreds of thousands of pounds in their account in Ghana. The banks refused to give money, and these Nigerians were in huge migration crisis. So as this happened, within that period they were auctioning things in Ghana. Life was good because Ghanaians were rushing, buying Nigerian product as cheap as possible. Everything came down. The moment a Nigerian left, life became hell for Ghanaians. The crisis Ghana faced, the hardship all the way to that of the farming period of Ghana, started when Buzia passed this alien compliance law. The effect on Ghana when the Nigerians moved out, cocoa price fell, okay, and also Ghana lost cocoa production from 50% of global production to 30% because the Nigerians were the one doing cocoa farming. The prices of goods doubled because the Nigerians were the ones who made it possible for the prices to be cheap. And when the Ghanaians were left to do businesses, they wanted to be rich as quick as possible and double the prices. And also transportation became a problem because most of the cars were owned by Nigerians. Nigerians had invested in transportation system. So this was the problem. And loss of jobs because the businesses and factories and cocoa business, the farming, were operated by Nigerians who had employed people. These people had left and jobs were lost. Okay, businesses collapsed. Ghana was in disarray. This was the start of Ghana problem that finally led to Ghana having famine. We would come to that for a latter part. What was the negative effect on Nigeria? Nigerians died. Yes, people who were in detention because the government held lots of Nigerians, and so some of them died in detention. What again? Nigerians lost houses, lost cars, lost businesses, money. The banks could not allow Nigerians to take more than 2,000 pounds from the bank because they didn't want this money to go. And these Nigerians had hundreds of thousands of pounds in their banks in Ghana. So this was a disaster. This was a problem. When the Nigerians returned, some were hoping to see back their loved one, but they had only to be greeted by the news that they had died in Ghana. This was a bad thing. Alien compliance law was what led to Ghana to fall in those periods until in the year 1985 when J.J. Rawlings went to Babangida to renew relations with Nigeria. That was when Ghana and Nigeria saw peace. Within this period, there was nothing like peace. So J.J. Rawlings moved to Babangida to make peace. But even when J.J. Rawlings moved to Nigeria, things were worse. Things were terrible for Ghana. Not until when President Kufuor became president of Ghana, year 2001, Kufuor moved to Nigeria, went to Nigeria and pleaded to the then president of Nigeria, Obasanjo, in the words of President Kufuor, not me, that Obasanjo is a gift to the African continent. Why did President Kufuor say this? Because when the economy of Ghana was in shambles, Ghana went hippie, meaning there was no money in Ghana. When Ghana was scattered, when the ones you call foreign donors, development partners, America, the Britain, you name it, all countries rejected Ghana. Nobody was there to come to the aid of Ghana. But Nigeria, and President Kufuor ran to Nigeria and laid down to Obasanjo. He didn't feel Obasanjo would help to say that, okay, we will resume supply of gas to Ghana to supply electricity. When he went, Obasanjo surprised him. Obasanjo did not only ask Kufuor that they should resume gas to supply to Ghana immediately, but also push the payments to almost 4 years back and also reduce the price for Ghana. And not only that, Obasanjo actually gave 30 million United States dollars to Ghana to buy cars for the police. I know that money was rejected by Obasanjo in Nigeria because Nigerians were blasting him as the president of Nigeria, but it is true. He helped Ghana. He assembled investors to come to Ghana to invest in Ghana. That is how come the infrastructure of Ghana today, housing, is at its peak. They're one of the best in Africa because the Nigerians came with their wealth, with their money to invest in Ghana. And Ghana is where it is today. And I will tell you, Nigeria has done a lot for Ghana. This I know most Nigerians don't know. That is how come President Kufuor.
I think I can actually attest to that. If I were not listening to this today, I probably wouldn't have known that there was this history where Nigeria actually helped Ghana, even after they had asked Nigeria to leave. I think all of these things are new. And a lot of Nigerians, even Ghanaians listening to this, will start feeling a certain way with this whole saga ongoing just now. Let's continue to watch to get clarity, okay?
Who ended saying that Obasanjo is a gift to Africa, named from 37 roundabouts, 37 to that of Achimota Forest as Obasanjo Highway in Ghana. This is as a result of the tremendous effort and help, aid from the people of Nigeria, from the government of Nigeria to Ghana to help boost Ghana's economy. This is history. We must not shy away from it. There is so much between Nigeria and Ghana. Why we must put asunder our fight. Why we must put asunder blaming one another. Let me tell you, one of the reasons is Nigeria and Ghana started fighting for AU together with Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone brought this fire to Nigeria, brought it to Ghana, boiled Nigerians and Ghanaians, Nkrumah inclusive, the ITA Wallace Johnson and the rest, that you should fight for your independence and let's form Africa Union, which is by then it was Organization of Africa Unity. Nkrumah championed it in Nigeria, but the white man skillfully came to Nigeria and told them, do not allow Ghana to head AU. And they went to Ghana and told them, do not allow Nigeria to head AU. The reason being is they knew these two countries were a powerhouse in Africa. Nigeria had immense wealth, so also is Ghana. If these two countries could blend their wealth together, I'm telling you, there is no way Ghana and Nigeria combined would not be able to give aid to other African countries.
After watching this video, you cannot know that Ghana and Nigeria, if they team up together, they can make a great Africa, because when they fight for the African unity, the Western world told Nigeria that don't allow Ghanaian to be the president of the African Unity Organization. The same thing, they came again to tell Ghanaian to don't allow Nigeria to be the president of the Africa Unity Organization. That is to let you know that Ghana and Nigeria is strong enough to change colonization in Africa. Please unite so that we can able to fight this fight together.
I made a video concerning the Igbo king. Now,
Okay, I hope we now get the picture. If you're Ghanaian, before you actually go out there to destroy businesses owned by Nigerians, I need you to have a rethink. And if you've not seen this video, just like I said at the beginning of this video is also on YouTube. I actually got this clip from The Excellent, and he actually did a very good capture there. So you can go on there also to watch a full, bigger picture of what from the excerpt that I took out there. What am I saying? Clarity. The historical happenings between these two countries should actually make us understand what we're doing right now. We can't just go out there and start taking laws into our hands because a few people give out a narrative whereby the majority of these same people are not into such things. If you go back to Nigeria, a lot of Nigerians will tell you they don't really have any ideas to what is either happening in Ghana or in South Africa. It's a very peaceful people doing their jobs. So when you watch videos like this, let it give you clarity. Understand the historical background to how all of this started. This has happened before. And we, without going through history, are beginning to still stir up something like this, which is not really, really helpful. So I think getting that picture is very, very essential to understand the history of how all of these things actually started. I was also telling someone that Nigerians do not start issues. Nigerians do not go to someone else's country, to start a national fight or a national quarrel. You probably have a group of persons who go into your country to trade and maybe trade wrongly, to maybe go to school and maybe go into that school wrongly, settle in these countries and maybe they are settling in wrongly. And that can just be a few number of persons. We're not talking about a whole country leaving whatever they are doing to face another. Nigeria does not start that. We don't go into that. But mind you, when you start it, Nigeria picks it up. Nigeria will pick it up to a point where you'll be so surprised. And that's how Nigerians have always been. So before it gets to a point where Nigerians begin to start to think of picking this up, I think we need to watch videos like this and begin to calm down so it doesn't become a national problem or a regional problem, as it were. So this next video would actually want to tell us a lot about this Igbo king, this guy in Ghana who wants to, create an Igbo kingdom. Just like I said, these are very trivial issues. It's not like this guy is trying to take over Ghana. Sometimes some of these statements should not be taken out of context. It's not too big to become a problem. If you understand the relationship we have between both countries, we should know that someone who is from an Igbo extraction cannot go to Ghana and go and take over power. Sometimes I think it has to do with maybe, I don't want to say it's jealousy, because putting it that way will make people think differently. We are not saying that Ghanaians are jealous of Nigerians. But I think this ego thing is becoming a problem. It's coming into play too much than it should. If someone says something like that, which I think is wrong, by the way, but we shouldn't just overcloud it and make it look like a national problem. You guys see videos of people destroying places, businesses, because an Igbo man had to demean you guys by saying he wants to create a kingdom. An Igbo man is beginning to act against the sovereignty or fighting against the sovereignty of Ghana by saying he wants to create a kingdom. I think these are very trivialized issues that we shouldn't be bringing to the fore. If we need to use the law enforcement to try to calm him down, that's a good option. Removing such a person from Ghana is going to be difficult because this Igbo king or this Igbo man has very strong roots in Ghana. He has a lot of businesses in Ghana. He has employed a lot of Ghanaians in Ghana, and he has a very strong hold to a certain resource in Ghana. And that's why this guy feels it's going to be very difficult for this man to be either deported or extracted out of Ghana. Let's just go ahead and just watch this part of it. Then I'll see you guys at the end of the video.
I spoke on a couple of reasons why it's going to be very hard for this country to get rid of him. People didn't understand, but today I'm coming out with different facts to make you understand, say. And yes, it's going to be very hard to get rid of him. He is the CEO of Tibet Group of Companies. CEO NSI Igbo King now. That's Igbo King. He is the CEO of Tibet Group of Companies. I'm going to list all the companies under Tibet Group of Companies. Now, how he has actually contributed to this economy, the number of people he has employed, the number of companies he supplied to, the number of institutions that depends on him to work, to run smoothly. Number one, Tibet.
I think it's also adding the Ghanaian language into what it's actually describing here. So it's actually going to be a bit of confusing to you guys there. But I think the subtitling there should actually give us some form of understanding of the video. Okay?
Limited. That's general trading. They do goods, import and export, or distribution of goods and various supply domestic, stuff. What I say, in domestic markets and neighboring countries. Okay. Now we come to Tibet Transport Limited. Freight, shipping. Luggage transport. Right? Import and export of essential goods. They are just here and they are doing nothing. I'm sorry. They are doing something. Let's go to the next one. Tibet Mother Care Limited. Okay, baby and mama products. Diapers, wipes, shampoo, lotions. Retail. They supply to Ghana Health Service. They supply to Ghana Health Service, Ministry of Health, and other companies. Currently, Rebrande and Chestnut, they do those supplies for Ghana. Ghana depends on them to run smoothly. Listen to me very well. I'm trying to make you understand. Senior, it's a different thing altogether. Tibet Farms, they operate in farming and agro production. They supply crops, livestock for food and commercial uses in Ghana. Ghana. Tibet Aluminium. Manufacture roofing, frames, and construction supplies. Ghana. You see, sometimes it's not just about Kasano Keke. No, you should also look beyond Kasano to see what exactly this person provides. And that's why he has shielded himself very well with the connections he has and all that. Things are going on the way they want it to go on. And then there's all we do. When a problem comes, the put blames on people. Solve a problem there. Let's continue. West Coast Entertainment. Events planning, production. And then also Tibet Group of Companies now. Spark West Telecommunication Infrastructures. They work with MTN, Telecel, Airtel Tigo. You don't know. You have no idea. You're just going about it and making noise. That's what's going on right now. So aside all of the things that we have said and all the fear that we have gathered into our thoughts now, the real thing is going in beyond that. Behind that, how do you think it's going to be possible for him to be able to get to the president and take pictures with them, big dignitaries? You think they are not making any impact in Ghana? He has employed lots of people. Tibet Oil and Gas, West Africa, Energy. They do oil and gas. Supply oil and gas. Ghana, petroleum, and different places. They are like Shell. They are like Total. They are like those people, those companies. Tibet Marine Services Limited, Coastal Transport, right? That is also based in Nigeria. And they are Nigeria. It's with all of these things, it should make you understand, say, getting that particular man to leave the country, say, it's very tough because he's well shielded. He has shields around him. He has shielded himself with dignitaries, big people. If it is easy, have you ever realized, say, in the history of America, a president is going head-to-head banter with a private person? Currently, Elon Musk, or His Excellency Donald Trump. You saw what's going on. It's not that easy. Say, Emra and Donald Trump, and collapsing the business. But if you do the demonstration that is going to come out from government institutions onto the presidency, it's very wild. So people are not looking at these things. They are looking lesser than that. But beyond that, there are a bunch of things that we have to consider. And yeah, easy, sir. And yes, just like I've said already. But and also say we can't make things happen. That's dependent on the government. But so what does it say? Some people have started releasing communica. Formalities. I'm trying to make you understand. Formalities. Power is in the hands of the people. African count. That's one thing I want you to understand. Power is in the hands of the people. Apart from election, IBS is as a franchise. Africa is not part of it. After elections, everything depends solely on the government. That's why I'm trying to remind you, end SARS demonstration in Nigeria. The government ordered the military to come stand on the bridge and then open fire on the people. Celebrities in Nigeria and finance bill protest in Kenya. Look at the number of people that died. Ghana, I'm reminding you. Julobi, look at the people that were arrested. You see? It tells you, say, it is all about intimidation. In Africa, when you start to think that the power is in your hand, you're going to be intimidated and it won't end well for you. And so I don't treat anybody, say, Yentiasie, Whatever thing we are doing, we should do it with much sense. If we have a demonstration to do, let's do it. We hope say we're going to be heard. But until then, I need you guys to understand a couple of factors that are at play right now that is going to be very hard for this particular person to lead this country.
Okay, so this is the video, guys. I hope this video has been very helpful. What is the aim of bringing this video? To give you clarity. I always try to make that so that you guys will understand. Before you go out trying to destroy someone else's property in the name of Nigeria must go, I need you guys to, have an introspection. I need you guys to think. Go watch this video so that you can have a bit of understanding of the history of both countries before you can actually start this. I also understand that a group of Nigerians can be in your country and probably carry that Nigerian trait into your country, and it may not be a kind of trait that you guys like. The traits of Nigerians being very loud, Nigerians being very, egoistic sometimes. It can be really, really tiring, As a Nigerian growing up, we actually get used to it. We get to see it all the time. But foreigners may not actually be able to, contain or to entertain, such attributes, which a lot of people would also say it has a level of some positive attributes to it, being very hardworking, being very enterprising, productive, being very confident. But a lot of countries do not want to have that in their face. It's not an ego thing. I think it's because of the cultural makeup of a lot of countries. Some countries or citizens are not built that way. So this could actually be a problem. Even as a Nigerian, it could be very overwhelming when you get to see so much energy around you. It could be it could put a lot of pressure on you. I understand how other countries feel, but that is too trivial to take to the fore in regards to what is happening just now. So we need to go back to history. We need to look at both countries. We need to appreciate each other. We need to look for ways to get proper understanding on how to move forward as a people. Okay? So that's my 2 cents here. If you enjoyed this video, I want you to go into the comment section and leave your comments there. So I am always very big on comments, because for a lot of people who cannot watch these videos to the end, so they go into comment section just to read through. The comment section actually gives them a lot of idea of what was said in the whole video, as it were. So please go into the comment section and leave your contribution, what you think, so that a lot of people get to read and be enlightened. Give us a proper understanding of what you think is going on between Nigeria and Ghanaians. And also, if you're new here, please, I want to urge you to subscribe to the channel so you can become a part of the family. Hit the notification bell so you can get to see my videos each time I drop them instantly. And if you want to help us the more, please, we want to urge you to share so that a lot of people will get to see this. I truly want to appreciate you guys for coming on EpicTube Moment today, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Twale.